Well, Gulf Coast Gearheads out here for another car review. We've got one of our buddies' Jeep Grand Cherokee Trailhawk, and it's got a HEMI,
which makes it even cooler.
Check this out on this car review. So yeah, you know, we were just talking about how this Grand Cherokee is very unique in its class, being that it's a Trailhawk and not has to be an SRT or anything like that.
Yeah.
So for it to come with the actual 5.7 liter V8, this is a rare occurrence in its class. So
it's even an option too, because it can either come with the V6 or, like our buddy Matt has, the upgraded engine option, which is the 5.7 HEMI.
Right. So I mean, you have the nice intake and everything else that's on this car. Very proud of this guy. Makes awesome sound.
Oh yeah, I heard a bald eagle scream as soon as I held up the hood, so.
We'll go ahead and take a look at the interior.
So Trailhawk is one of the higher trims for the Grand Cherokee, so you can see that we have nice leather seats with it even embroidered on the back here. You also have a nice leather wrap steering wheel here, which is real nice and soft to the touch. Really nice steering wheel, not what you expect of a typical Jeep product. It's even a heated steering wheel too, so for the 3 days in Houston when it's cold enough, you can turn your heated steering wheel on.
But one good feature that we do have in here, and it's controlled here in the infotainment, is AC seats. Now this is something that is in Houston, which is very neat. As you can see, they're nice and ventilated from the driver's seat even to where I'm sitting here in the passenger seat.
Yeah, so definitely keeps you from sweating all over your back on your commute to work in the morning and over the summer for Houston. So
right, and you got the push to start and a digital dash, everything about it. I mean, you even have all of your four-wheel drive modes between snow, sand, mud, and rock. Anything you're having to deal with out there in the rough terrain. I know that most people that are driving these Grand Cherokees aren't exactly wanting to drive off-road. It's more of a between a Land Rover and a smaller SUV that does able to go crawling. I think it's more luxurious. I mean, with all of these other features like we're talking about in the interior, having the leather wrapped and nice seats. You even have heated rear seats, which is not something you normally see in this class. So that's something very impressive.
Yeah, so not just comfort for the passenger and the driver up front, but even for the passengers in the back, which is very nice.
Right.
So now we've moved back one row into the back seat of the two-row SUV. There's no third row option for the Grand Cherokee. There's just a lot of storage back there, which we'll get there in a second. But as you can see, when we drove up here, Josh sat in front of me and he's about 6'1", 6'2", and where he sits the seat comfortably, I still have plenty of room in the back here. So it's not one of those, oh, it's a very cramped back seat, but you have plenty of room up front. It's actually pretty good in both rows.
Right, and even our buddy Matt that owns the car, he's about 6'3", so as you can see right here, a lot of his seating room behind him is a little less, but even then I still think there's a lot of room for somebody to sit here. It's not as average for people to be as tall as Matt, but even as you can see here, Jacob's about 6 foot 6'1". He fits in there. It's a little cramped, but I think it's all right because over a long stretch of road he'll be all right.
Yeah.
But like we said earlier, we're talking about how you have heated rear seats as well as USB plug-ins and very nice vents. I think this is something that most people don't think about, as well as being able to tilt it at your feet or even your head.
So one thing I do like about Matt's back here is he has this nice retractable cover. So if he has anything back here, like all of his 10,000 winter gear, here we are in July, all of his jackets in the back of his Grand Cherokee.
You never know.
Yeah, just in case. But he can cover that or leave it uncovered in case he has something that's taller than that. So that's a real nice feature for the back, so you can hide anything you have in the back.
Yeah, and it's also, I mean, like you was just talking about hiding stuff. I mean, this is huge when you're talking about theft, especially in a big city like Houston. If he goes downtown, if he has anything that's valuable, like coming from work, he's able to hide that under there. It's really nice. I mean, and also, I mean, between that, he has nice cubby holes. I know his spare tire and everything is down here, as well as a lot of other features like that and toolkits. Really like the trunk, as well as the nice convenient way you close it. You hit this button right over here.
Gives you that head warning.
It's not exactly NASCAR quick when it closes, but definitely something we're we're approving. We like the nice closing features like that.
Oh yeah.
This doesn't exactly have a kick lift like that on this one, but I don't think that's a big concern for most consumers.
No, that's more of a nicer option. So I mean, even still, like when we opened it, you just press the button and it opens up all by itself.
So if you're busy at the grocery store or wherever you're at, I still think that's a very nice feature. Just get one little finger under there, hit the button, and it'll come right up. Also, something that's very exclusive to the V8 models is something like you have a dual exhaust system. So this is something, if you're ever driving around and you see a Grand Cherokee that's driving and it only has an exhaust system on the left side and not on the right, you're definitely looking at a Grand Cherokee that has a V6 and not the HEMI V8, or even some of the higher models that have about the 6.2, being like the SRT or even the Trackhawk.
Yeah, and the 6.4 as well too. So a couple of other V8 options for this model specifically.
Yep. So here we are in Matt's Jeep.
Going around town in a HEMI.
So what are your first impressions there, Jacob?
It actually rides a lot smoother than what you would expect from a Jeep product. I expect rough and tough and very rugged, but it's actually quite smooth, and the roads around where we're at aren't necessarily the smoothest. So to me that says a lot about how the Grand Cherokee rides.
Right, and I think there's a lot of stuff that goes into its drive modes and how you can fix the suspension and everything that affects how bumpy the ride may be or not.
Yeah.
Just depending on how smooth you want it to be. And I think that's just what's nice about a higher up Grand Cherokee in a trim level. It allows the consumer to be able to enjoy more features when it comes to the ride quality.
Yeah, for what you're paying for this car, you definitely want that in there. You don't want the base model Wrangler feel in a Trailhawk Grand Cherokee.
Right.
So,
and what's also good, what we'll tell you, is in the Trailhawk HEMI, we're pushing a good almost high 300 horsepower,
yeah,
almost 400 horsepower, which is very nice in a car of this nature. It's a little bit.
Baby toted. Feels great though.
So that prior pull was not with sport mode, but now we have sport mode activated.
And here we go.
So what do you think? Is it pick up and go, or what are your thoughts on it?
It definitely has some pick up and go. I've never been a fan of like performance SUVs and like the freaking Trackhawk where it's 700 horsepower in this vehicle, but this is a very good amount of horsepower in the size of this vehicle. I think this is a good level.
And you know, honestly, I love the color of Matt's Grand Cherokee. I love this color. I really do believe that if there's one thing that's going right for Grand Cherokees and even cars of this style off-roading, is they do get pretty liberal and pretty cool with the colors. Like it's not a just black and white world. I mean, you can even see we just passed by this Wrangler and it's a nice blue color. I mean, this is a great colors on these cars.
That's one thing I can't dog on FCA about, is the colors they have, not just on the Wrangler you pointed out, this Grand Cherokee, but even the Challengers and the Chargers, even something like the Ram Rebels, they're all really good colors. I think FCA might have the best palette.
Yeah, I mean, if you go and look at the Challengers and the Chargers out there, I mean, those things are crazy colors. What are some other things you like about this?
Well, like I was talking about when we were at the top of the parking garage, I like the feel of the steering wheel. We already mentioned the AC seats. We definitely have those bad boys going right now, and it is a lifesaver.
I mean, gosh, it's what, July 14th? It's crazy out here. It's hot.
In a darker black interior that's leather, so it's basically a human oven in here if you don't have those things going.
Which we would tell you, if you are going to get a car that has black interior and it can come with AC seats, do it.
It's a must. I used to have a black leather interior Mustang when I was in college, and that, of course, being a 2001, did not have AC seats, and it would be brutal. I would have to turn the car on, let it cool down before I could sit in, or else I wanted second-degree burns.
Yeah, but you felt like it was bittersweet. You loved that Mustang.
Oh, I loved it, yeah.
Yeah, and we also know Matt really loves his Grand Cherokee. We actually sort of peer pressured him into getting this one.
It took a couple months.
I think we weren't a big fan of Grand Cherokee, but once we saw that you could get a HEMI in this trim level, had to get it.
He convinced us at that point.
Yeah, he showed it to us. I loved the color, I loved the V8, and I said, why are you not already calling them? So a fun fact of it is it's a 2018, and when he went looking for a Trailhawk and this like whole setup at the V8, there was only one in the entire city of Houston when he was shopping for it.
Yeah.
So this was a rare find, a diamond in the rough. So I think if you're out there looking for a Grand Cherokee, I definitely think like explore the different colors you can get, explore the different features you can get and stuff like that. I know that they come in a plethora of trim levels. You can go all the way where they start out in the high 20,000s, and you can even get them up to 90,000. It's just how cool this car can be, and how cool do you want it to be.
Yeah, they really can fit this vehicle to any consumer on any budget, whatever you're looking for features wise. We already mentioned what's more common in this vehicle is the V6, but Matt has the 5.7 Hemi, and being a Trailhawk 5.7 Hemi, this color, it just makes it an even rarer and even cooler vehicle.
So if you guys out there have a car that you guys want us to feature, definitely hit us up on all the social media. We appreciate any cool cars that are out there. I mean, we got to keep the cool car grind up, you know. I mean, we're all trying to go electric vehicles. It's a bad world out there, you know. Anything with cool combustion.
Yeah, but that'll wrap up our review on Matt's 2018 Grand Cherokee Trailhawk. So if you have any questions about it, then like Josh already said, let us know in the comments. So we appreciate you guys checking out this review.
Without further ado, that is Gulf Coast Gearheads signing off.